Shalom, first and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to all the sincere brethren out there. To you, I say shalom, shalom to the very, very few sisters out there as well. Shalom. And this is Revelation chapter 16, verse 1. It says, "And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, Go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth." And the vials are used as a metaphor for the Lord opening up certain plagues or events that's taking place on the earth, or that's going to take place on the earth. Okay. So that's what the vials represents metaphorically. Verse 2, "And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image." Verse 2 in the NIV says, "The first angel went out and poured out his bowl on the land, and ugly, festering sores broke out on the people who had the mark of the beast and worship its image." So if you take the mark of the beast, if you take that charagma, you're going to be destroyed. And not only that, the Lord is going to plague your body with boils and sores, okay, with an ulcer, with a sore, okay, with inflammation. So let's go into that word. Noisome. It says of a bad nature. It says not such as it ought to be. It says of a mode of thinking, feeling, acting, base, wrong, wicked. It says troublesome, destructive. So of a bad nature. So diseases, that's of a bad nature. Diseases are a bad nature. Okay. It says what? Evil, ill, something that makes you sick. All right. So we went into this word noisome. Now let's go into that word grievous. It says full of labors, annoyance, hardships, pressed and harassed by labors. It says bad, of a bad nature or condition. In a physical sense, disease or blind. Disease, in a physical sense, diseased. Okay. So let's look up the word sore. It says a wound, especially a wound producing a discharge, pus, a sore, an ulcer. So for those that take the MOTB, okay, you're going to experience boils and cancerous sores on your body. It's gonna on your skin. Okay, it's gonna be a lot of pus, the discharge. Okay, it's not gonna look pretty at all. All right, Esau is gonna try to put the charagma in everybody, but that's not gonna happen because the Lord is going to keep the remnant, the elect of Israel, from taking the MOTB, the mark of the beast, the charagma. Okay, that the CHIP, the RFID CHIP. Okay, let's look up the word ulcer. It says an opening sore on an external or internal surface of the body caused by a break in the skin of mucous membrane that fails to heal. See, so it's going to be on your skin. Okay, it's going to be sores and boils on a person's skin. All right, let's look up the word boil. The word boil, like a boil disease. There it go. There you go, boil, an inflamed pus-filled swelling on the skin caused by typically by the infection of a hair follicle. Okay, which we may experience certain things now, different boils and stuff, but ultimately, if you take the C hip, you're gonna be adding derision. Boils on the skin. It's gonna look something like this. You're gonna break out with boils. See that? And it may even look worse than this. But something to this degree. You see the pus inflammation on the skin. So that's for those who take the C hip, and also if you take the Caragua, yeah, you're gonna participate in the Lake of Fire. Okay, those that's in America and that's gonna take the Caragua, the C hip, don't do it. But if you do it, guess what? You're gonna take part in the Lake of Fire, because it's gonna be a lake of fire here in America by those missiles, the nuclear missiles. Okay, so I want to go to Exodus chapter 9, verse 8. And it says the plague of boils, and Yahweh said unto Moses and unto Aaron, take to you handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses sprinkle it toward the heaven in the sight of Pharaoh, and it shall become small dust in all the land of Egypt, and shall be a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast throughout all the land of Egypt. So let's look up that word boil. Boil, inflamed spot, inflammation, eruption of man, leprosy of man and beast. Go down to the Strong's definition. It says what? Inflammation, i.e., an ulcer, inflammation, an ulcer. Okay. It's nothing new under the sun. All right. You people gonna have boils on your skin if you take the MOTB. Okay, you're gonna be in pain. It says blains, blisters, boils from root to swell up. Right. You're gonna break out with blisters because you trusted in the so-called white man and took the C-hip. All right, verse 10, they took ashes of the furnace and stood before Pharaoh, and Moses sprinkled it up toward heaven, and it became a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast. So the different boils and blisters broke out on the cattle, on man, women, children. Verse 11, the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils. For the boil was upon the magicians and upon all the Egyptians. Okay, so the Lord sent boils on the Egyptians, on their cattle. Verse 10 NIV, so they took soot from a furnace and stood before Pharaoh. Moses tossed it into the air, and festering boils broke out on people and animals. All right, so judgment is about to take place on a greater scale. All right, you're going to know it's the God of Israel that's bringing all the judgment. All right. It's Revelation chapter 16, verse 3. It says, and the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea. That's talking about how there's a lot of pollution. Okay, it's a lot of pollution in the in the oceans, in the sea. All right. It says, verse 4, and the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of water, and they became blood. All right. So you got fish bleaching themselves. You know, they want to move from their habitat to another one, you know, because that's unnatural for them. You got the whales, the sharks, the small fish, the large fish being polluted. Different sea animals in the water is being polluted by the pollution in the waters. Verse 4, and the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood. Okay, that's talking about the pollution in the waters. You know, so I just want to bring this out. You know how the scripture speaks on how, we just read how, if you take the MOTB, you're going to have boils and blisters. Well, guess what happened during the time of Egypt? And the scriptures say the plagues are not slack, the plagues are sent. And also the scriptures saying Second Ezra 15. Verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with the mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. There you go. So it's going to be plagues similar to the plagues of Egypt and greater plagues than the plagues of Egypt that's going to come upon America, which is Babylon the Great. All right, this is spiritual Egypt. This is Egypt all over again, spiritually. Okay, we're in bondage. Who? The Israelites. so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans. And Egypt was known for the bondage of the Israelites, the captivity, the slavery of the Most High's chosen people, the Israelites. Okay, but the Lord delivered the Israelites from Pharaoh and his army, and we still talk about that story to this very day. Well, there's going to be a greater story than that, because the scriptures say the Lord is going to deliver his elect from the four corners of the earth and from Babylon the Great. Okay, it's going to be a great deliverance here in America and also throughout the four corners of the earth. So with that, all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Ha, Kodash, Shalom.